This is Assam's emergency landing strip. The Prime Minister will be landing over there. That's Assam marked in yellow, and the red dot that you see over there, if we can just zoom in to that red dot, is an area close to the Moran bypass. Obviously, the red dot is a bit large, but it's in that area to the northeast of Assam that this emergency landing facility has been opened, or it's going to be inaugurated soon. And here's another look at it. We'll bring you the exact latitude and longitude. We'll freeze over here for just a moment. This is the stretch of the highway which has been reinforced to accommodate transport aircraft. The Prime Minister will likely be landing in a Hercules transport aircraft, but fighter aircraft as well, right? We've got a couple of these in other parts of the country. This is the first of its kind in the northeast of the country. This is an extremely sensitive area. We've got a lot of air bases ranged against the Chinese. Let me talk a little bit about that and then break down why this becomes important. What you see on your screen marked in green are Indian Air Force's air bases ranged against the Chinese air bases. So all along the line of actual control, right, lay to the west of the line of actual control, and then going down, then there's Bareilly, there is Gorakhpur ranged against China, Darbhanga much smaller, Purnia much smaller, Bagdogra is important, Hashimara, a frontline Air Force base. Hashimara, if we just focus on Hashimara for a moment, that's actually quite important and interesting. So this is Hashimara over here that you can see. And what I thought we do is actually focus a little, talk a little bit about Hashimara. You've got the 2nd Rafale Squadron over here. And this particular area, which I'm pointing out over here, which lies to the north of Bengal, to the south of Bhutan, and to the southeast of Nepal, is called the Chicken's Neck, right? This entire area is where India is particularly vulnerable, which is why during the Doklam crisis, just zoom out a little bit. Yeah, zoom out a little bit more. The worry was during the Doklam crisis that if there was any effort by the Chinese to come close, they would try and cut this area off. So these are the other air bases that you see on your screen in green. So there's Tezpur, Hashimara, Jorhat, and Chabua on the screen. And lined up against them are all of these Chinese air bases over here. So there's Stingri, Shigatse, Damsung, Lhasa, Lunze, Ningchi, Mainling, and Chamdo, Bangda. They've deployed a lot of assets over here. So if there was a war between India and China, God forbid, then a lot of our frontline bases would be targeted. We would be targeting their bases as well. It's important to understand that fighter aircraft are extremely vulnerable to attack on the ground, particularly if there are missile attacks, which is why you need to have alternate facilities where they can be deployed. So just under this area is where that emergency landing facility has been set up. So let's, in fact, now that you've got a broader idea, go across to an animation or a package which I'm going to describe to you on what this is meant to actually do. So let's have that up, please, on why exactly it is that we want that emergency landing facility to be set up. So can we have that first page? Right. Now this is important. It's the first highway for emergency air operations in a sense. Change to the next point. Let's have that animation. Right. So this is not exactly what I wanted right now. We wanted the animation package to come up. The airfield is for relief operations in remote areas. So essentially, as I introduce my guests, let me give you a few more details, and we'll bring up the correct set of images in a little while from now. I was explaining to you how in the event of a military, right, this is the one, we've got it up right now. So the highway turns a runway. It's a 10-step war scenario which we've tried to explain. Now these are animated pictures, so bear with that. So if there is an air war which is on, then forward bases of the Indian Air Force could potentially come under challenge or threat from the Chinese. We've indicated that over here. What do these fighter aircraft actually do? Let's go to the next page. These fighter aircraft need bases to land on. IAF jets would also be in the air fighting a battle. If their bases have already been targeted, then IAF jets low on fuel after, let's say, a mission along the border would need an alternate facility, and that's where an emergency landing facility is absolutely critical. Let's go to the next page, right? And so this is a stretch of highway. Again, this is AI generated, but it's exactly what this emergency landing facility would look like for a pilot. It's a national highway. It's been reinforced. It's broad enough and it's long enough for landings to actually take place. Let's go to the next page. So pilots would be diverted over there. The highway would be sealed. Traffic would be cleared. The perimeter would be secured as these planes come into land. Go to the next page. And what the Indian Air Force would immediately be doing over there is to set up a mobile air traffic control and an operational center. This they would do on a rail quick time basis to enable aircraft to land over here. Planes would be coming down over here. Right, fighter planes would land on this runway, but the operations don't necessarily end. They could be refueled and redeployed and rearmed within moments. So they'd move to a dispersal area. This is, in fact, a rail picture of a Sukhoi 30, after having landed in one of these areas in the past. The engines would be hot. That means they would be refueling with the engines hot. But if you're fighting a war, you want to get these planes up as far as possible. Missiles, bombs would be loaded from mobile units, and these planes would be made ready to fly out immediately after that. The pilot stays in the cockpit very often, a turnaround in minutes as soon as possible, and then you're back in the air flying. So that's exactly what we are talking about. Jets take off, they're back in combat. But there are other facilities or other requirements as well. For example, humanitarian assistance and disaster relief, that becomes a critical area.